I was the untouchable ice prince of Columbia University. Aloof, a loner by nature. The line of girls who had a crush on me could stretch down Broadway, and I was seen as the one that got away for basically every girl on campus. That all changed the night someone snapped a picture of me trying to give Anna Miller flowers, only to be rejected. Seconds later, she let another guy into her apartment. The photo and the story went viral. In the campus-wide biggest simp contest, the Ice Prince's 9 rejections became an instant legend. The picture caught me mid-handoff, my arm outstretched, just as she shoved the door closed in my face. The rain was coming down in sheets, soaking me to the bone. I looked pathetic, like a stray dog left out in a storm. Within 10 minutes, the post had spread across every campus social media feed. The laughter felt like a tidal wave. The original poster even included screenshots of the delivery receipts. 9 orders spanning an entire year. "Our campus god is really something else," one comment read. "So cold and distant in public, but a total simp in private. It's an embarrassment to all men. Dude, he's crashing their hookup. This isn't just simping, this is some next-level desperation." I stared at the screen, my entire body frozen stiff. I had been with Anna for a year, and we had barely even held hands. She told me she was against premarital sex, wanting to save that intimacy for marriage. I believed her. Over the past year, she'd send me suggestive texts late at night, hinting I should come over with protection. The first time, I rushed over, my heart pounding with excitement. When I got to her door, she coldly told me her roommate was back. The second time, I was just downstairs when she texted that her best friend was having a meltdown and needed her. The third time, I just assumed she wasn't ready. I loved her, so of course I could wait. But how? How did those same chat logs end up on a campus gossip page, twisted and reframed as proof of my pathetic devotion? I kept my head down, avoiding the mocking stares as I made my way to Anna's family villa in Greenwich. I was worried someone was intentionally starting rumors to ruin her reputation. I had to protect her. But through a crack in the door, I heard a chorus of sneering laughter. "If Noah ever found out you only pursued him and made him buy you condoms to get back at Dylan, he'd probably jump off the George Washington Bridge." "He deserves it," another voice said. "He's been coasting on that Ashford family name for years, bullying Dylan just because he's the son from an affair." Anna, sitting in the center of the group, held a cigarette between her fingers. Smoke curled around her as she spoke, her voice casual. "Old man Ashford cared more about the family's reputation than anything. His will states the heir has to have integrity. How else could we make him lose his inheritance? How else could he compete with Dylan?" The room erupted in cheers, followed by a string of insults aimed at me. "But Anna, aren't you afraid Noah will find out and just lose it on you?" Anna laughed, as if it were the most ridiculous thing she'd ever heard. "Lose it? You didn't see the look on his face when he brought the condoms. I didn't have the heart to tell him I didn't even take them. I only made him come over because Dylan wanted to see him run around like a pathetic little puppy. He's so in love with me, he wouldn't even look at another woman. Once Dylan secures the inheritance, I'll keep Noah around as a backup. He's obedient and knows how to take care of people, and I wouldn't want to tire Dylan out." I stood there, the blood freezing in my veins. I couldn't connect the contemptuous person before me with the gentle, loving woman I had known for the past year. I was supposed to be the rightful heir to the Ashford fortune. But my mother had an affair, kicked out my father, and brought home my half-brother, Dylan Hayes. Suddenly, Dylan was the celebrated young master of the house, and I was treated like the help. When I was 10, my stepfather tried to force me to kneel and crawl through Dylan's legs to apologize for something I didn't do. I refused. He held my head and forced it into a basin of water. I fought back, breaking free, covered in blood, and ran out into the pouring rain, where I collided with a girl passing by. All these years later, I still remembered her eyes, full of a deep, soulful kindness. She smiled gently, her eyes curving, as she helped my battered self up from the pavement. So, when we met again at Columbia and Anna pursued me relentlessly, I put up almost no resistance. I said yes immediately, and she was good to me. She knew I was a germaphobe and would personally wipe down any chair I was about to sit in 3 times with an antiseptic wipe. On my birthday, she'd cancel plans with her wealthy friends just to watch fireworks with me on a rooftop, just the 2 of us. In the brilliant light, she would kiss my forehead and whisper, "Noah, we're going to have a home that's just ours." Those memories were too beautiful. So beautiful, they made me think fate had finally given me a break. But as the reality of the present crashed back in, I leaned against a tree on the sidewalk and dry heaved until my stomach ached. Just then, my phone buzzed. It was a text from my uncle. I opened it, and a steady voice came through the voice note. "Noah, what have you decided about moving abroad? If you're willing, you can bring your father with you. The flight is in a week." I stared at the screen for a few seconds, my thumb hovering over the keyboard. "Uncle Rob," I typed back, "I'll do it. I'll see you in a week." After sending the message, I went home and started packing. As I did, I gathered everything related to the Ashfords and Anna Miller, a promise bracelet, love letters, anniversary gifts. I destroyed them all, smashing them to pieces before throwing them in the trash. When I was done, I grabbed a simple backpack and left. I had to go back to Columbia to handle my withdrawal and the paperwork for going abroad. Because of the drama on the campus forums, I took a secluded path, but a few menacing figures still blocked my way. Well, if it isn't our famous simp," said the leader, a senior in Dylan's fraternity who had always been jealous of my popularity and grades. He stepped forward and grabbed my shoulder, his tone mocking. "I saw on the forum that you were more obedient than a dog when you were delivering those condoms. How about you show us? Yeah, give us a woof woof. If you do it well, maybe we'll let you pass." Another one chimed in. "Let go," I said, my voice ice cold, trying to step around them. But they grabbed my arms, holding me fast. "Where do you think you're going? You could be our dog. We will make you run out in the rain for condoms." I struggled, swinging a punch that connected with the senior's face. That enraged him. He and his friends wrestled me to the ground, trying to force my head down. There were too many of them. Just as my face was about to hit the dirt, I heard a familiar voice. It felt like my only lifeline. "Anna," I called out, my voice hoarse. She walked closer. The senior, Kevin, immediately let go of my head. I seized the opportunity, looking up at her desperately. "Call the police. They were trying to make me bark like a dog." Before I could finish, Dylan, who was standing beside her, let out a soft chuckle. "Brother, what's this all about?" he asked, feigning surprise. "Kevin is one of the most stand-up guys I know. Why would he bully you for no reason? Don't tell me you tried to steal something from him and got caught." "No, he was—" Anna cut me off. Her gaze was filled with disdain. "Noah, Kevin was just joking with you. You're a grown man. Do you have to be so dramatic?" She looked down at me, her eyes scanning my disheveled state. "Besides, you're willing to be my dog. What's the big deal about barking a few times for my friend?" A chill ran through me. I could hardly believe it. "Anna, how can you say that?" I got no answer. She had already turned to Kevin, her tone now soft and flirtatious. "Kevin, I'm so sorry for the trouble. Please look after Dylan for me here at school." Kevin paused, then a knowing smile spread across his face. After Anna left, his disgusting hand was back on my head. "Noah, no one's here to save you now." He slammed my head down, right toward his crotch. "Now crawl through and beg for forgiveness. And let's hear you bark." I fought with everything I had, the veins in my neck bulging. Losing his patience, Kevin shoved my face into a puddle of mud and spat on me. I don't know how long it lasted, but eventually they got bored and left, laughing. I slowly pulled myself up from the mud and staggered back to my dorm, locking the door behind me. I looked at my reflection in the mirror. My clothes were torn, my knuckles were scraped raw, and my knees were a mess of blood and dirt. I cleaned and bandaged my wounds without a single expression, then collapsed onto my bed and fell into a deep, heavy sleep. The next day, I woke up with a pounding headache. I had a film analysis class at 8 a.m. Gritting my teeth, I got up, threw on some clothes, and went to the lecture hall. The moment I opened the door, the room went silent for a second, then erupted in contemptuous laughter. "Hey, look who it is. The star of the show has finally arrived." A guy in the front row whistled. "Noah, we're analyzing your latest work. How'd Kevin's crotch smell?" I snapped my head up, Projected on the large screen was the video of me being forced to my knees. A wave of nausea hit me. I strode toward the front, intending to shut it off, but a few guys laughingly surrounded me. Hey, don't be so hasty. It's not over yet. We're all trying to learn from your technique. Near the podium, Dylan, the TA for the class, stood up, a flicker of triumph in his eyes. Sorry, Noah. They all wanted to watch it. I tried to stop them, but I couldn't. I ignored him and lunged for the projector's power cord. Just as my fingers brushed against it, someone yanked me back. Not so fast. A guy with bleach blonde hair said, blocking me. We're the best part. It'd be a shame to turn it off now. Yeah, does he think if he turns it off, we can't see it? Dude, the whole school has seen it. We even posted it on Twitter and Reddit for you. My vision narrowed. The guy held up his phone, showing me the webpage. Campus god turned submissive dog, crawls for fraternity senior, seems to enjoy it. The view count was already at 1.2 million. The room started spinning. The jeers continued. Look at that form. You must practice that a lot, right? You really look like an obedient little watchdog. Hey, why don't you give us another performance? We'll each chip in 50 cents. That's enough for another box of extra thins. My fists were clenched, so tight my knuckles turned white. Just as the taunts reached a crescendo, a deep, authoritative voice cut through the noise from the doorway. What is going on in here? The room fell silent. The professor for the class stood at the door, frowning at the screen. Who put that on? You have 3 seconds to turn it off, or everyone in this class loses 10 points from their final grade. I went back to my seat, but I didn't hear a single word of the lecture. I knew without a doubt that Dylan was behind this. I wrote a formal complaint, planning to take it to the dean's office after class. But after lunch, the letter was gone from my bag. Are you looking for this? A cool female voice asked from behind me. I spun around. Anna was sitting there, her eyes cold. She was holding a white envelope. Do you have any idea what will happen if this letter gets to the dean? She demanded. I do, I said, staring at her. But is there a single word in that complaint that isn't true? Anna shot to her feet, her once gentle eyes now filled with anger. And the video they played, was that not true? Are you so precious that a little kneeling is enough to ruin someone's life? I stared at her, my jaw tight. Anna, how can you say that? My voice trembled. You were the one who said you wanted, and now they use that to humiliate me. And you're blaming me? Anna scoffed, looking at me with disgust. Humiliate you? If you had any self-respect, you wouldn't have run out to buy that stuff every single time like a pathetic lapdog. This is all your own doing. You embarrassed yourself. My face fell. Embarrass myself? In her eyes, everything I did wasn't out of love, but a source of shame. For over a year, I hadn't even dared to squeeze her hand too tightly. I gave her all my respect, and she trampled it under her feet. Seeing the look on my face, Anna's brow furrowed for a split second. She paused, then her tone softened slightly. Noah, come on. People just love drama. I'm not going to break up with you over this. It'll all blow over in a while. Just don't drag other people into it. Are you afraid of dragging other people into it? Or are you afraid of dragging Dylan into it? As we stood in a tense standoff, a head popped into the classroom. It was the class representative. Noah, what are you still doing here? He said out of breath. The dean's office called. They want to see you immediately. A knot formed in my stomach. A sense of dread washed over me. I hadn't even had a chance to report Dylan. Why would the dean want to see me now? I walked straight to the dean's office and knocked. The moment I stepped inside, before I could even speak, I was met with a barrage of criticism. A student has reported you for cheating on your girlfriend with 7 or 8 other women, resulting in multiple underage girls becoming pregnant. Their parents have already contacted the university. The dean looked up, his face furious. Mr. Ashford, I suggest you explain yourself. In the office, Dylan's eyes darted around. He looked down quickly when he saw me enter. My mind went blank. That's a lie, I said, my voice firm and clear. Dean, I have never dated multiple women at once, and I certainly have never been involved with anyone underage. If you don't believe me, I can provide my complete social media history and location data. I will cooperate with any investigation or test. I pulled out my phone and presented all the evidence I could to the dean. Seeing my unflinching expression and logical rebuttal, the dean seemed to waver. He was silent for a few seconds, then turned to Dylan. Mr. Hayes, I'm going to ask you one last time. Are you certain your report is factual? Let me be clear. This involves minors and is an extremely serious allegation. The university must handle this with the utmost gravity. If your report is found to be false, you will face severe disciplinary action. Dylan hesitated, his lips moving as if he was about to speak. He's telling the truth. Anna strode into the office, a cold, sharp anger in her eyes. She walked to Dylan's side, her gaze passing over the dean and landing on me. As Noah's ex-girlfriend, I can testify that everything Dylan reported is true. I whipped my head around to look at her, unable to believe what I was hearing. Anna didn't look at me. Her voice was steady, but every word was a knife. During our relationship, he was constantly using dating apps to lure underage girls. I caught him multiple times. He would kneel, beg, and slap his own face, so I felt sorry for him and didn't say anything. Not only that, but 2 weeks ago, he forced himself on me while I was drunk. He raped me. The onlookers in the hallway started murmuring. What are you talking about? My pupils contracted. I couldn't believe it. Anna, from the very beginning, we never. Anna cut me off before I could finish. She looked at me with pure disgust. Never what? Are you going to say you never touched me? Her eyes turned red as she looked at the dean. Dean, do you believe that? A man is with his girlfriend for over a year, and he's not some saint. How could he control himself? I always believed in saving myself for marriage. But Noah, who always pretended to be so respectful and pure, showed his true colors after just a year. The students watching whispered among themselves. Not touch his girlfriend? No way, unless he's got a problem. He can't possibly say he's a moral paragon and just held back. After buying all those condoms? And now he says he never touched her. My hands were clenched into fists, my body trembling. I opened my mouth to argue, my throat raw, but then I saw Anna pull out a medical report, nailing me to the cross. I'm pregnant, she declared, and the baby is his. The crowd, which had just been watching the drama unfold, exploded. A girl wouldn't ruin her own reputation to frame him, right? It has to be true. He's a monster. Noah, are you even human? You ruin a girl's life and then stand here playing innocent. The crowd was furious. A few guys tried to rush me, but they were held back by the dean's assistant. Someone like that doesn't deserve to be at Columbia. Expel him. He has to be expelled. The dean's face was ashen. For a prestigious school like Columbia, a scandal like this could tarnish a century of history. Noah Ashford, do you have anything else to say? He boomed, slamming his hand on the desk. Your character is depraved, and you are suspected of criminal activity. The university has decided to expel you, effective immediately. A notice will be sent to the entire student body. Expelled. The word hit me like a bucket of ice water, freezing me from the inside out. I had pulled countless all-nighters, worn out so many books, just to get into this university. I thought if I worked hard enough, I could escape the toxic swamp of the Ashford family. But one false testimony from Anna had destroyed it all. Even though I was about to leave anyway, I couldn't accept it. As I walked out of the office, I blocked Anna's path. What did I ever do to you, I demanded, to make you do this to me? Anna's eyes were cool. Perhaps because it was all over, she found the patience to placate me. Your reputation is already ruined. A little more won't make a difference. Even if you're expelled and have no degree, I'll still be with you. But Dylan is different. For the first time in my life, I hit her. A clean, sharp slap across the face. Anna's head snapped to the side. Her eyes were wide with shock. Noah, you hit me? Do you have any idea what you just done? Do you want me to actually break up with you? I looked at the face I had once traced with so much love and felt only a sense of absurdity. That night on the rooftop, she had kissed my forehead and said, Noah, we're going to have a home that's just ours. I thought fate had finally smiled on me, but there was no fate. It was just a cruel joke. A loud clap of thunder echoed, and the sky opened up. I started to laugh, a low, hollow sound, as I backed away, stepping into a puddle. Anna, you're not breaking up with me. I'm breaking up with you. I turned and walked away, planning to go home, get my father, and leave this disgusting city that very night. But I hadn't gotten halfway there when my neighbor called. "Noah, get to the hospital, quick. It's your dad." Her voice was choked with sobs. "A group of people showed up this afternoon. They said you got some underage girl pregnant at school. They trashed the apartment and dragged your dad out into the street. They beat him, said they were serving justice. By the time we found him, his arms and legs were broken. He's in surgery right now." My mind roared. My father was the only family I had left. When I was 16, my mother, in a fit of favoritism, threw me out of the house. It was my dad who found me, who worked construction day and night to put me through school. My hand shaking, I called Anna. She picked up almost immediately. "Did you do this?" She laughed coldly. "Just a little lesson. You should never have hit me. You've never laid a finger on me before." Her voice was casual. "You're probably broke, right? For old time's sake, if you come and beg me, I might consider paying his medical bills." My fist clenched. I had no choice. During our relationship, out of trust, I had put all my savings into a joint account with her. Now I was penniless. I couldn't even afford the hospital's admission fee. When I arrived at the villa, the living room was brightly lit. Dylan was there, sitting cozily next to Anna. They were laughing and talking intimately. Seeing me, soaked to the bone, a flash of pleasure crossed Dylan's face. "Anna told me you need $300,000 for your dad. I'd love to help, but when I think about how that money is for that bastard's father, it just doesn't sit right with me. He gave my mom a pretty hard time back in the day. Where's the money?" I ignored him, my eyes fixed on Anna. Anna leaned against Dylan playfully. "If you kneel and bow your head to Dylan 3 times, 100,000 for each one. How about it?" I looked at Anna's cold, indifferent face, then closed my eyes. Without much hesitation, I bent my knees. My forehead hit the floor hard. Once, twice, 3 times. I used all my strength for each one. Dignity was important, but my father was more important. "Is that enough?" I looked up, blood trickling from my forehead. Anna smiled at my pathetic state. "Kneeling for a mere 300,000? Noah, the thought that I ever dated someone with no backbone like you makes me sick. Take it and get out." She casually tossed a check on the floor. I bent down, picked it up without another word, and ran back to the hospital. The red light outside the operating room was on for 6 hours. A tired doctor finally came out, looked at me, and slowly shook his head. "I am sorry. We did everything we could." I stood there, the world suddenly silent. I walked into the hospital room and shakily took his cold hand. "Dad," I whispered. There was no response. I buried my face in the sheets covering him, my shoulders shaking violently, but no sound came out. I don't know how much time passed before the door opened. My uncle, Rob Ashford, rushed in, looking like he'd just gotten off a long flight. He had just finished his business overseas and saw dozens of missed calls the moment he landed. When he saw the white sheet on the bed, his eyes instantly turned red. He strode over and put a firm hand on my shoulder. His voice was harsh and resolute. "Let's go. We're leaving now. What they owe you today, I'll make them pay back 100 times over in the future." A day later, as the plane took off and climbed into the clouds, I looked down at the city shrinking below. Down there was the lover I had once cherished with all my heart, my trampled dignity, and my father's cold hand. I slowly closed my eyes. In a hallway at the hospital, Anna leaned against the wall and checked the time. The specialist she had sent to treat my father should have finished the surgery by now. She never intended for my father to actually die. It was just that I had been so disobedient lately, going against her wishes and targeting Dylan again and again. I needed a lesson to learn my place, so I would always remain compliant. Chloe, a mutual friend, happened to be at the hospital visiting a relative and saw Anna waiting. "Hey, Anna, what are you doing here?" she asked, surprised. After Anna explained, Chloe's jaw dropped. "You did all that for Dylan? You're really dedicated. But aren't you afraid Noah's father could have actually died? Noah would hate you forever." Anna scoffed, completely unconcerned. "Impossible. He loves me too much. Do you really think he could ever bring himself to hate me? But he's been getting out of line lately. I had to rein him in, or he'd end up hurting Dylan. That's the only reason I sent people to rough up his dad." Just as she was about to call the specialist to check on the situation, her phone buzzed. It was Dylan, his voice a pain sob. Anna, my stomach hurts so much. I'm throwing up blood. Anna's expression changed instantly. I'm on my way. Wait for me. She turned to Chloe and gave a quick order. Can you do me a favor? Find a specialist I hired and ask about Noah's father's condition. Chloe grinned and gave a thumbs up. Don't worry, Anna. I'll take good care of your future father-in-law. You go take care of your man. Chloe watched Anna disappear around the corner before pulling out her phone and sending a text. It's done. Anna is on her way to you. The specialist she hired was diverted, just like you planned. There's only a regular doctor on the case now. Noah's dad is as good as dead. Meanwhile, Anna had just gotten Dylan settled after a trip to the ER. Seeing the color return to his face, she gently tucked him in. Don't worry, the doctor said it's just acute gastritis. You'll be fine with some rest. She paused. And don't worry about the school situation. I've taken care of Noah. He won't be able to threaten you anymore. Dylan grabbed her hand, his eyes filled with emotion. Anna, why are you so good to me? I'm just the son from an affair with a bad reputation. Anna smiled and snuggled closer to him, her eyes full of affection. Have you forgotten how we met? Dylan's eyes flickered for a fraction of a second, and he looked down to hide his guilt. Of course not. I had run away from home because Noah was bullying me. I was lucky I ran into you. Anna drifted into a memory. It was the darkest year of her life. Her own father, driven mad by her mother's affair, had jumped from a building, taking her younger brother with him. 2 lives gone. Afterward, she was targeted by her stepfather and blamed by her mother, living in a constant state of gloom. Until that rainy night, when a boy, covered in wounds and just as miserable as she was, held her tightly. From their brief conversation, Anna learned that both their fathers' lives had been ruined by affairs. In his trembling embrace, she saw a kindred spirit. From that moment, Anna swore she would protect him and love him for the rest of her life. Unfortunately, the moment she got home that night, she argued with her stepfather and was immediately sent abroad by her mother. It all happened so fast she never got a chance to contact the boy or even ask his name. All she knew was that he was a son of the Ashford family. When she returned to the States, she immediately started asking around and learned that the Ashfords had recently taken in a son from an affair. I promised I would protect you, and I never break a promise, Anna said, stroking his hair. Besides, you told me it was Noah's father who used his power to steal your mother away. Everything that's happening to Noah now is just him paying for his father's sins. It's karma. Dylan nodded smugly. As long as I have you, I'm not worried about anything. As they were enjoying the tender moment, the official expulsion notice for Noah was posted, causing an uproar across campus. It was 3 days after the notice went up that Anna realized Noah hadn't contacted her. At first, she wasn't concerned. He was just a dog who was madly in love with her. How far could he stray from his master? After being expelled, Noah would need a few days to sort things out. But a week passed, and Noah seemed to have vanished. His phone went straight to voicemail, his dorm room was empty, and he had even terminated the lease on his shabby little apartment. Anna started to get annoyed. She had Chloe look for him. Chloe seemed hesitant, stammering for a long time until Anna's impatient prodding forced her to speak. I found him, but he just cursed you out. He called you and Dylan a pair of cheating, lying scumbags who deserve to die a horrible death. Then he transferred his dad to another hospital and left. He's probably seeking treatment somewhere else. Anna had felt a sliver of worry, but it was completely extinguished by the tirade. Didn't I send people to treat his father? Was his problem? She had arranged everything, even hiring the top specialist in the country. Fearing Noah wouldn't have enough money, she had even deposited $500,000 into the hospital account without telling him. And this was how he repaid her? With vicious insults against her and Dylan? Anna's face hardened. She felt Noah was being ungrateful. She told Chloe not to bother looking for him anymore. He's so devoted to his father. When the money runs out, he'll come crawling back to me. When he's truly desperate, he'll be back. The air around Anna grew cold. Chloe was too scared to say another word. Only Dylan came to her side, taking her hand and comforting her. Don't be angry, Anna. Noah's always been ungrateful. Otherwise, he wouldn't have accused my father of abusing him back then, when my dad was so good to him and then taken all his anger out on me. Soothed by Dylan's gentle words, Anna relaxed and melted into his embrace. It's just like we promised back then. You're the only one who's always by my side. She didn't notice the guilty flicker in Dylan's eyes. Just then, her mother called. She answered, but before she could speak, her mother's angry voice came through the phone. Anna, look at what you've done. Pregnant before marriage. Are you trying to cause a scandal? Anna frowned, annoyed. Mom, it was a misunderstanding. Let me explain. She told her she had faked the pregnancy report just to provide evidence for Dylan, that there was no baby. After she finished, her mother snorted. So you caused all this drama for that boy from the affair. I take it you like him a lot, then? Anna glanced at Dylan, who was looking at her with complete devotion. Yes, Mom. I'm going to marry him. There was a moment of silence on the other end of the line. Dylan Hayes might have a questionable reputation, her mother finally said, but I've heard at social events that he's very favored at home. There are even rumors the family plans to leave him the bulk of their real estate. Her voice softened. Fine. His background is a bit lacking, but if he's the favored son, I won't stand in your way. Hearing her mother say Dylan was the favored son at home gave Anna a moment's pause, but she didn't dwell on it. Understand, she said. For some reason, that night, after Dylan had fallen asleep, Anna felt a restless anxiety. She kept picturing Noah's face, filled with despair. She remembered him saying, I'm breaking up with you. The dead look in his eyes haunted her, stirring a deep unease. In the past, no matter how angry Noah got, he would never say such harsh things to her. No matter how unreasonable she was, he would never just leave without a word and break up with her. He loved her to his very core. Otherwise, she would never have dared to push him so far. Had the expulsion really broken him? Anna frowned, her thoughts racing. The next day, she used her family's connections to contact a member of Columbia's Board of Trustees, asking to have Noah's expulsion rescinded. The board member looked troubled. Ms. Miller, I'm afraid that's not possible. You yourself brought this matter to the dean, and you know how he is. He paused, looking confused. Besides, Mr. Ashford's father passed away recently. I doubt he's in any state of mind to return to his studies. Anna's eyes widened. She stood up abruptly, in disbelief. Noah's father is dead? The words came out before she could stop them. How is that possible? And what about Noah? She asked, her voice trembling. The board member informed her that Noah was gone, too. Anna felt lost, the anxiety in her heart growing heavier. Filled with a gnawing dread, she returned to the apartment she had set up for Dylan. The bedroom door was slightly ajar, and from inside, she heard his triumphant laughter. It was a tone she had never heard from him before. Anna stopped, her feet frozen to the floor. She crept closer, peering through the crack in the door. Dylan was on his phone, his voice sharp and cruel. It's better that the bastard is gone. I hope he never comes back. Thanks for your help delaying things this time. It's just a shame we couldn't get him convicted. He got lucky. The person on the other end of the line said something. Dylan snorted, his voice dripping with contempt. What's there to be afraid of? Anna is so obsessed with me. She'll never suspect a thing. She still has no idea that the person she met that night was Noah, not me. As long as Noah is gone for good, the Ashford fortune and Anna will both be mine. He was gloating when the door was suddenly kicked open. Dylan yelped in shock, dropping his phone. He looked up, his face pale, at the furious figure of Anna standing in the doorway. Anna, when did you get back? Anna strode towards him and grabbed him by the shoulders. Dylan, who were you just talking to? What did you mean? The person I met that night was Noah. What does that mean? A terrible suspicion was forming in her mind, one she didn't dare to believe. You've been lying to me this whole time, haven't you? Tears instantly welled up in Dylan's eyes. He shook his head frantically. No, that's not it. Anna, you misheard. I was just joking with a friend. How could I ever lie to you? He tried desperately to explain. Don't you remember? I can tell you every single detail from that night. His expression was pitiful. In the past, Anna would have softened immediately. But now, looking at his familiar face, she felt only a terrifying sense of unfamiliarity. She shoved him away. Dylan stumbled and fell to the floor. You better be telling the truth, Anna said, looking down at him. Don't let me find out you're lying. Without another word, she turned and left.